Have you ever wondered what it truly feels like to be the forgotten child? To be present but never counted? That question haunted me long before the night my sister told me. Right to my face. Guess you don't count. My name is Amber Hayes, and this is the story of how one wedding night exposed a lifetime of lies. Before I begin, make sure you subscribe, because what happened next? People still whisper about it. The hallway smelled like lilies and bleach. The kind of mix that tells you everything will look pretty in the pictures, even if it feels rotten up close. I could hear the DJ inside counting down to the first dance. My mother adjusted her pearls. My father looked away, and I stood there in my wine-colored dress, holding the gift I had wrapped the night before, trying to pretend the sting in my chest was not real. My sister Leia was getting married at the lakeside resort in Vermont, the kind of place rich families choose when they want the world to know they can afford elegance. The ballroom shimmered with chandeliers, floating candles, orchids hanging like delicate ghosts, and my seat out in the hallway, next to the trash cans. I remember staring at the folding chair like it was a joke I should have laughed at, but somehow could not. I had driven 3 hours from Boston replaying Mom's last message. Please, Amber, no drama today. It's Leia's day. That was all I ever was to them. A warning label. Don't speak. Don't react. Don't ruin the picture. Growing up, we looked like a balanced family on the outside. The golden child and the quiet one. Except the golden child got applause, trophies, tears wiped, knees kissed, and the quiet one learned how to stop needing anything at all. When I was 12, Mom told someone at a dinner party, "Oh, Amber, she's easy. She doesn't require much." I remember my chest tightening even then, like someone was slowly turning a knob inside me. But the moment that truly burned itself into my memory happened years later. Thanksgiving, 3 years before the wedding, Mom asked me to fetch an old photo album from her vanity drawer. Instead, I found her small brown journal. I thought it was her diary, something private. But when I flipped through it, every single page started the same way. Leia's first day of kindergarten. Leia's favorite meal. Leia got accepted. Not a single page. Not a single line. Had my name. When I asked why, she looked at me like I was strange. You never needed the attention, honey. You were always fine. I learned that day there are 2 types of forgotten. Being lost and being erased. That feeling returned the moment the wedding planner told me, "You are assigned to hallway seating." Her voice polite, but her eyes apologizing before her lips could. Inside the ballroom, my sister glowed in her gown. Mom fixed her veil. Dad straightened his tie. They didn't look toward the hallway once. I sat quietly, pretending the cold draft brushing my arm wasn't humiliating. Then Leia walked toward me, her bouquet in one hand, her smile sharp enough to cut glass. "Well," she said, tilting her head, "looks like they finally figured out where you belong." I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. It never came. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked. She shrugged casually. "Guess you don't count." Those 4 words landed so softly you might have missed how deadly they were, but I didn't. She leaned closer. "Try not to make this about you, Amber. It's my wedding. Maybe pretend to be happy for once." And then she walked away, veil dragging behind her like a trail of arrogance. I sat there a minute longer, breathing slowly, letting the humiliation settle like dust, then harden into something else. Something cleaner, something quiet. I reached for my bag and touched the small silver-wrapped box inside. The gift I had planned to give, except what was inside wasn't a gift anymore. 3 weeks earlier, I ran into one of her old coworkers. Over coffee, she confessed something Leia had bragged about. How easy it was to manipulate Noah. Fake tears, soft lies, promises she never meant. She said he'll give her everything, the woman whispered, sliding me screenshots she had saved. House money. She even joked about moving your parents into his guest house. My stomach had dropped that day. Not because I was surprised Leia lied, but because of how proud she was of it. I had printed those messages, put them beneath a crystal frame, folded a note, and wrapped it all inside that silver box. Not as revenge, as truth. Now, sitting beside the trash cans, I made a decision that felt like someone else's heartbeat. Not frantic, not shaky, steady. I slipped the gift back out, walked to the reception table while everyone was distracted, and set the box right on top of the pile marked to Leia and Noah. Then I left. No scene, no goodbye, no begging for a place inside the life they kept pushing me out of. Outside, the Vermont air was cold enough to sting. The lake shimmered under lantern light. I walked to my car feeling strangely free. 5 minutes later, as I reached the parking lot, I heard it. The scream. It cut through the night like something breaking for the first time. Here's what happened after I walked out. Inside the ballroom, guests had begun sorting the wedding gifts. For a cute little opening moment before dinner, someone handed Laya the silver box. She laughed, untied the ribbon, lifted the lid, and then the room shifted. She picked up the crystal frame. The note beneath it floated to the floor. Her mother-in-law, Victoria, noticed it first. She bent down, eyes narrowing as she read the screenshots. "I think," Victoria said, her voice giving the room a chill, "you should see what your daughter has been saying." Laya grabbed the pages too fast. The paper crinkled loudly, the crack of guilt. Noah stepped closer, reading over her shoulder. "She said she loved me," he whispered. "She said a lot of things," Victoria replied. One of the guests gasped. Another covered her mouth. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Phones came out. Cameras clicked. The perfect wedding had ruptured. "No," Laya snapped. "These are fake. She's trying to destroy me. Amber did this." Amber has always been jealous, but Noah wasn't listening to her anymore. "It's your number," he said quietly. The dates match. The messages match. The jokes match. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a folded document, and placed it on the gift table. "What is this?" she said, voice trembling. "An annulment," he answered. "I signed it last night." She froze. "You can't humiliate me," she cried. "No," he replied. "You humiliated yourself." The DJ shut off the music. The chandeliers buzzed in the silence. A child asked, "Mom, why is the lady crying?" Mom rushed toward the scene. "Sweetheart, maybe we should step outside." "Don't touch me!" Laya jerked away. "You all wanted this." Dad stepped forward for the first time in years willingly. His voice was low, but everyone heard him. "You should apologize to your sister." Laya stared, then laughed, a broken, hysterical sound. "Apologize? To her? She is nothing." Dad shook his head. "She is family, and you lost yours tonight." That was the moment something in Laya truly cracked. She sank into a chair. The bouquet fell from her hand. Mascara streaked down her face like ash, and everyone watched the golden child collapse under the weight of her own lies. I wasn't there to see it, but the scream was enough. Through my car window, I watched people rush out into the parking lot, whispering, texting, sending videos. "That poor man." "No, the sister." "Did you see the sister?" "I heard she left before it happened." I felt no triumph. Just a quiet settling inside me, like a door finally closing. By the time I got home to Boston, dawn was breaking. My phone buzzed nonstop. Calls from Mom, Dad, unknown numbers. Even Laya's new mother-in-law. I didn't pick up. Their voices had been too loud my whole life. I walked out onto my balcony, watching the river cut a path through the waking city. My dress, deep wine, elegant, hung over a chair. It looked untouched, but I knew better. It looked like armor. A message came in from Mom. "We didn't know. Please answer." I set the phone face down. They always said they didn't know, when really, they just didn't look. That morning, I booked a small cabin in Maine, a week by the water where no one knew my name, where no one would compare me to anyone, where I could breathe without being told I was too much or not enough. Before leaving, I stood on the balcony watching sunlight cut across the skyline. The same silence that used to make me feel invisible now felt like peace. At my sister's wedding, I was seated next to the trash cans. This morning, I am seated by the river. Same silence, different world. Back then, silence meant humiliation. Now, it means freedom. Because the loudest revenge is not shouting. It is walking away from people who only loved your silence. And here is what I know now. I don't need a seat at their table. I can build my own. If you have ever been pushed aside by the people who were supposed to love you, tell me this. Have you ever had to walk away from your own family? Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is leave the room quietly and let the truth speak for you.